பண்ணிட்டு Sairam. So for past 2 weeks we have just started discussing on chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. So in which we just talked about what is the context in which this war has been declared, and it's between who and who are in the war, and what are the different psychological actions of individual people's personalities. கேக்குதா இல்லை முன்னுக்கு வர்றதுன்னா வாங்க சரி. So we discussed about those points in last 2 classes about the context, but how Duryodhana was there, what type of psychology he was having, what type of impression he was having and carrying on. And Arjuna, we are going to see how Arjuna was reacting. He's going to react. So we are going to see that today. And we also saw that Duryodhana went to his teacher saying, complaining about, see, opposite side, this is your disciple Arjuna was there, and also Drona's son is there. Drupada's son is there, so to kill you. All these things have done, and while he was talking about all those things, Bhishma started blowing the conch. So now what happens, Arjuna, all of a sudden, he gives a command to Lord Krishna to take his ratha, the chariot, and place in center so that he can have a clear view of everyone on the opposite side. So this is the place where Arjuna is now going to observe the opponents, the Kaurava Sena. Alright, so Kaurava Sena is almost like 18 Akshonis, what I have told you. So they are a very large battle army who is there. But he is not frightened about the numbers, but he is frightened about those relatives who are standing there. So that is where the problem started. It's not about the number, because Arjuna doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, he is worrying about the big numbers. So he's only when he's seeing about the relatives who are standing there, it caused him little bit of a problem. So his mental emotions were more rather than his intellectual stability, right? So what happened? His intellectual ability has gone down. Wow. His thinking has gone totally out of his mind. So his intellectual capacity has gone to zero, but his emotional ability or emotional capacity has started overriding his mind and everything. So it has been occupied. Now let us see in this context what is the way that Arjuna is going to talk to Lord Krishna, because the entire first chapter I told you, Lord Krishna was not at all uttering anything. He was just allowing Arjuna to speak. So Arjuna is going to speak out. Whatever it comes to his mind, he is going to speak. So as I told you, it is like blabbering. He is going to blabber many things. Let us see what are all the different types of blabbering, what is he going to make, and does it make any sense, and what is the best way that we can handle such a situation. All right. See, every characters of Mahabharatam is a life lesson for us. Okay, so when you see that character, you are going to learn many aspects. It could be a personality, it could be an attitude, it could be something which is going to give you. From that character, you are going to learn many things. Okay. Now let us understand from the Arjuna as a personality, what is he talking and what is he narrating to Lord Krishna, and let us understand what it is. So he says, number 1, my limbs fail me, my mouth is parched, my body trembles, my hair stands on end. My bow Kandiba falls from my hand, and my body burns all over. I am not able to stand steady. My mind reels. So this is the first symptom what Arjuna is narrating to Lord Krishna. He says, I am getting, my throat is totally dry. My mouth is parched. So I am getting my dry throat. Okay. So nothing, no saliva has been there. I am getting shivering. All right. So my bow, what I am having in my hand, Kandiba, is slipping, is falling. And also my body is burning. Okay, I can feel the sense of burning, and also I'm not able to stand steady. Okay, so basically what I am feeling, there is slight giddiness in me. Am I right? What does this symptom narrates to us? What type of symptom that Arjuna is undergoing right now? What do we understand? When he says all this is a symptom what he is saying, right? So I'm getting a giddiness, emotionally upset. And what else? He is confused. Okay. What type of mental status he is? Anxiety, panic, depression. All right. So it's an anxiety, performance anxiety has overtaken him, and he is totally in the state of panic, in a depression stage, a mood of state of depression where he cannot express anything. And what happens because of that, his mouth is totally dry. All right, and then the shivering comes. This also happens to everyone whenever you are asked first time to address a gathering. Understand, when you are all of a sudden you have been pushed to the stage and asked to address a big gathering, what happens, right? We have beautiful teachers like that, right? So who will grab you and go in the front and talk. That's it. We have no intention to talk. We don't know what to talk. We will see all the peoples in front, and what happens? You will feel them all are gigantic people's front. And number two, am I going to commit any mistake? This is what it will happen in your mind, right? So, am I going to commit? You may prepare yourself beautifully. You could have prepared. But what happens when you go to the stage, all of a sudden you will feel that you totally blanked out. Happens to anyone. It also happened to me when I was giving my very first speech. When my teacher asked me, I was in the 4th grade. She picked me up and then she told me, go to the stage and talk. When I was in the stage, I'm seeing my headmaster, principal, gone. The first topic, what was there? The topic is about nattu. In Tamil, I have to speak. Okay, udukkai ilandavan kai pole ange idukkan kalaivadam nattu. That was the first Vallur Thirukkural I told, and then I am starting about Kopparanjolan Pisarandiyare pole. The Pisarandiyar word has forgotten. I say P. That is, I am struck. So everyone is laughing at me, and then you know that ego is also there. When everyone starts laughing at you, then what happens? Your ego gets hurt, and you will find something, something is pushing you, and some emotion is burst out, and then you are one way you don't want to show, but you are still crying inside. And almost you are crying, and then the chief guest who saw me and told, "Thambi paathu padichiruppa." So he told me, just go and read from the paper. Then I took the paper and I read and came down. And everyone is laughing at me. So this is how we get, because we may be prepared, but sometimes this anxiety overrides anything. Correct? So this anxiety has taken up Arjuna's mind. So now what happens? He has gone totally blank. So he says, my Kandiba is slipping from my hand, and my legs are shivering, and my mouth is drying. So because he is feeling that, so what he is going to commit as a mistake. So he himself has got a notion. This is called preconceived notion in your mind. All right? You are making a judgment. So that's why we say, don't make a judgment before a solution has come to you. Correct? So if a solution is given to you, you are asked for giving a solution. Don't make a judgment on it. So don't have a preconceived notion. With the determination, don't attempt anything. So you have to go there and then find out what is the solution, how to make it. So these are all something which we get from here. And also number 2, from the body reaction, bodily status and all, Arjuna's mental status was been registered by one of the beautiful commentator that he started overreacting. Correct? There are 2 things what we need to understand. If there is a problem, you need to act, don't react. You understand? You need to act, don't react. So the problem what happens with the reaction, because when you are reacting, probably your intellect will go zero. For this, he gave a small incident where he talks about. So once there was a person by name Varma, and he is a very big government officer, and he is having a government office, and then he is at the 8th floor of the building, and he is working. All of a sudden, the peon opened his office door and ran to him, and he was telling him, sir, you see the word he uttered, Mr. Sharma, your daughter eloped with someone. Okay? This was the statement given by him. All of a sudden, this guy started overreacting on it. He never even understood what the message is. He never even listened to everything. So he started overreacting. Oh my God, I am a government officer. What I'm going to do? My daughter has gone like this. No. He can't take it in that mind. So he started jumping out of the window from the 8th floor. Okay? When he is crossing the 4th floor, he understood, Arey, my daughter is already married. Why should she run now? Why did I think about it? Why should I think about it? And first of all, where did he saw my daughter? My daughter is already married. She is not at all in this village or in this city. Then after 2 more floors, we was down. Then he understood. Oh my God, he uttered me, Mr. Varma, I am Sharma. Am I right? I am Sharma. This fellow called me Varma. So I am not Varma. Why did I react? And at the end of the day, you understand what has happened. See, the problem is people overreact for certain things. That's why we should not create a conflict within a conflict. Don't create a conflict within a conflict. This is a conflict creation within a conflict. If there is a problem, all of a sudden, exiting yourself is not going to be a solution. You understand what I mean? Exiting will not give you a solution. You are creating more conflicts. So you are not balancing the things. So this is what the mental status what Arjuna was having in there. So he started thinking on those, and then he said, my Kandiba is slipping from my hand. My limbs are, I'm shivering. My body is shivering, temperature, my body is burning and everything. And also he sees, I am seeing only evil omens, O Keshava, nor do I perceive any good coming from killing my own people in the battle. So he is also saying, now see what happens. Sometimes people, when they started having some problems, they themselves think they are the very smart and philosophical and the saintly person. They start giving lecture to us as if, in the life you should not have like this. And all these great advices and all they will start throwing. So this fellow is saying, it is no good of killing my own peoples. To whom he is telling? Krishna is listening to it, and he is saying that it is not worse. I do not long for victory, Krishna, nor kingdom, nor pleasure. Oh, what is the use of the kingdom to us, Govinda, our enjoyments, or even life itself? So I am not wishing to get any kingdom. Okay? I don't want any victory, nor pleasure. And what is the use of a kingdom after killing all these people? Correct? And those for whose sake we desire kingdom, enjoyment and pleasure stand here in the battle, having renounced their lives and their wealth. So for whom I am fighting here? And also they are teachers, father, son, grandfather, maternal uncle, father-in-law, grandson, brother-in-law, as well as other relatives. Now you see his mentality, how he started looking at them. All right? So when you are in the war front, when you are opposing something, when it is a Kshatriya dharma that you have to fight, you are not supposed to look at them as a relatives. This is not the dharma, first of all. Why? Because when you are in the forefront, it is a battle between these two. That's it. You don't need to look them as a relative and start looking at them. What are all the relation they have with me? And if that is the way that you are going to connect with them, it's not going to work. All right. So he says, but he's thinking on those areas. And even though I am killed by them, I do not wish to kill them, even for domain over the three worlds. O Madhusudana, how then for the sake of the earth? Why I am here. So all this understanding what we are getting here is that he is justifying that there is no need of any war. All right. He is trying to give a justification saying that I am not interested in waging any war. Why? Because he himself has got a preconceived notion that there is no use. After waging a war, what I am going to get? This kingdom. What is the use of getting this kingdom after this great battle? Right? So he has already had a preconceived notion. So it is not right that we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra. Indeed, how can we be happy having killed our own kinsmen? So he started looking them as their own relative, and then he says it is no worth of killing them. Okay? With their intelligence overpowered by greed, do not see sin in the destruction of family and hostility to the friends. In the ruin of the family, its ancient dharmas are destroyed. Indeed, adharma overwhelms the entire family. So he says, by the destruction of a family, the dharma is destroyed and adharma is overruling. Now, what type of dharma he is talking about here? He is telling by destroying the Kauravas, dharma is destroyed. Adharma is going to overpower. Now, what type of dharma he is talking about here? What do we understand by the statement? What is your thought? What do you think? That he says by destroying Kauravas, dharma is killed. Killing his own people, okay, that is one way of dharma what he is relating here. Am I right? Then what else? Okay, Kauravas have done good. Okay. To peoples? To him? That's what he is thinking? Okay. Okay. Arjuna was the first fellow to say that I have to wage war with this. So he was very much ready. Last week we saw that the story, right? He was first person to say, I'm going to kill these fellows. But now out of a sudden, he's jumping into a conclusion saying that, oh, no. Killing Kauravas is not a dharma. So why does he had this status thinking? What made him to think about that? So killing his guru is something which he is relating, one thing. What else? So he is relating to that because I am killing my guru. So that could be a problem. So because of that I may get papa, yeah. Elder people, okay. In the war we always say there are certain peoples who are exempted from the war. One is seniors, women, children, and who have some disease, chronic disease or acute diseases. These are the people who they will not take to the war. And also they won't even kill the cattle. It's not, especially with the cow. Okay, that's why before waging a war, as per the war strategy, they will first take the cows. So the enemy camp will go and snatch the cows of the other camp. Then they will keep it in a safe place. So that is where they start the war itself. That is the sign saying that I am ready for the war. So what they will do is they will go and then they will take all the cows, they will try to snatch all the cows and then they will keep in a safe place. So now what happens? The dairy products supply will be cut. Right? So from there they will start. That's the sign they are going to give. So that then they are ready. Okay, so the fellows are ready to wage the war. This is how the war strategy will start. Okay, so killing a cow is considered to be sinful. Killing an old person is sinful. Okay, it's very sin. Female, you should not kill the female. You should not kill any person who is with disease or anything. So these are something which have been given in the war strategy. So now how he is relating now, his own grandfathers are seniors. His teachers are his seniors. So what I'm going to do, by killing them, I'm going to create a adharma. Now how do we address this point? It's a technical point. Am I right? It is a technical point. Definitely it's a technical. Think about this. Yes, Drona is Acharya for Arjuna. And Drona is going to be killed in the war. How do we justify this? Alright? So these are all the things which we have to think in Bhagavad Gita. In that point only we can understand this Bhagavad Gita in a good place. So how do we understand this? Okay, these people are against for dharma. Okay, so that's one point. What else? What else? Go ahead. Go. Mm-hmm. Very good. Okay, very good. So he has forgotten that he is a part of a dharma. So he has forgotten that point, and then he is trying to say what is not correct. He started pitching it. Okay, what else? What is the confusion here? Can you see any confusion here? What he is finding out?
Maybe he's not remembering that he is a Kshatriya.
Okay.
Duty is to do his duty.
Very good, very good. Kshatriya duty is to wage war and then you have to kill the enemies. But still, why he is having that confrontation in his mind, having that delusion in his mind, and he thinks by killing them, I'm going to create a papa.
He's not creating a papa because he's not accepting his guru, I mean Krishna as his, because he's the one who's doing it. But
Mm,
tells
mm, mm.
him to go to war, he has to go.
Mm.
It's supposed to be his, what we call Sankalpa.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So he's not just doing it because on his terms.
Yeah.
Supposed to be his guru, and guru has already told him, and that's why he's taking the reins of the chariot.
Mm-hmm.
That's his mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's just given himself up. He's not giving, now he's torn between the practical world and
Mm-hmm.
the ideal world.
Mm-hmm. 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 So that's a good point because he didn't understand the Lord Krishna, the divine is with him, first of all, and then he didn't understand what the nature of the Krishna, why he is there, and what is the way that he is going to give him the direction and all. But moreover, what happened, he had a little confusion with individual dharma to that of the general. There is a confusion within him with an individual dharma to that of the societal dharma. What was the little confusion? Individual dharma might say any time, anything which you are giving, even if you are creating some insult for your acharya, is going to create a problem individually. Am I right? So that is correct. But what happened? This has taken in his mind, thinking that individual dharma is the highest one, and he is trying to place the individual dharma application in front, saying that general dharma is all against. What is the general dharma? If they are, even though they are acharyas, if they are standing on the other side, it is your duty as a kshatriya to wage a war. Right? You understand what is the point is? His individual dharma is getting confused. Because he has got a knowledge, but what happened is his individual dharma thinking was dominating. He's thinking, oh, even insulting Acharya is not good, right? Now think about, going and killing them. That means this is going to create me a lot of sins, all right? So I'm going to create their generation totally, 100 people. Think about, the entire generation is vanished, correct? The entire generation is vanished. So I'm going to kill everyone. And is that not a sin? So I'm going to create definitely papas. So this is what it is. He is confused with these two statements. So now this is where Krishna is going to clear him, saying that how your individual dharma should be submissive when you come to the general one. It should be submissive to that. Submissive means it should be hand in hand. You should make it congenial so that you can work on that mission to achieve the societal dharma first. So dharma is normally a natural path. All right? You don't bring your individual and cross it. This is where the problem comes in picture. So when you bring your individual dharma saying that no, as per my acharya, I should not do this, then what happens? And everyone can have their own exceptions and say that, right? Everyone can say that. Everyone will do that. And who is going to bell the cat? This is the question. Someone has to come out and then they have to do this duty. It could be painful, no harm. But sometimes you have to work on it. Correct? So this is where the Arjuna is going to be given advice with. That means he is not clear about what is dharma. You understand? Now he is not clear about where I have to apply the societal dharma first and where I have to go with my individual dharma and how I am going to balance that. So he has to be given that notice. Are you getting the point? What is the question what he had in his mind? And also he says the confusion of caste lead the family into hell as well as destroyer of the family, and as a result of deprivation of offering of rice balls and water and spirits of their ancestor also fail. He is telling that if the male population who is going to be in the war, right? So I'm going to kill them. So what is the net result of it? So he says if the male population is eradicated, then the females will all be, their life is ruined. Correct? For that what happens? Varna Sangraha. What is Varna Sangraha means? The mixture of caste and community will happen. You see that? So because the ladies are all left alone, so what happens? They have to get some life. So there could be mixture of caste and community will happen. This in turn will lead to the entire generation being ruined. Right? So because it is right. It's a war is between you and it's always the male is going to fight in the war. It is the Kshatriya Dharma. So only the males are going to fight. Only after a certain period, then only the ladies entered into the field after the British Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai, and then they came in. Velu Nachiyar and all those people jumped in, and then those came in the little later period after British invasion only. Those things have been opened. Until then, we are protecting the ladies. So the women folks have been protected. So that's why they will always be in the Antapuram. So they have to fight. And once the fight is done, what happens? This fellow who is winning, he will go and capture those ladies. Take that as a hostage. So that is what it will usually happen. So what happens now? He says there will be Varna Sangraha. So community and caste will get mixed up. If the community and caste will get mixed up, your traditional practice will be ruined. Okay? So these are all the things what he is looking at. So your traditional practice, your family traditional practice will be ruined. So this is one thing which he is having in his mind. Okay? So Krishna has to address what is the tradition practice first. So that's what he is going to give all these advices. So he has to address how he is getting confused with the family tradition here, family practice here, and why he is mixing up with the caste and communities here, and what is going to happen. Am I right? So he is also thinking on those ideas and on those ideas here. So that's where, and he says, as if this is going to happen, as if I have not offered any pindas to my ancestor, that is going to be the papa what I am going to get. Am I right? So, as your son, we say as a tradition of a son, he is supposed to give the for the ancestors what we call shraddha. Okay, it is a duty of a son. You have to do tarpanam and shraddha for the pitur. Pitur means the forefathers, ancestors who has passed away in your family. It is very important that you have to think about them on those memorable days and memory days. So you have to do some shraddha for them and then offer something. All right? So you have to do it. As a son, you have to do it. So is it only for the son? Is it not for the daughters? Daughters do have a duty for that. What type of duty they have? That's why they say in the marriage. Okay, see, son can give this moksha or a liberation for the 3 generation. Son can give you the moksha or liberation for 3 generation. Like what he can do, he can do this shraddhas or tarpanas or anything. And then what happens, the 3 generations can be benefited. But for the daughters, what they say, if a daughter is given as a kannika dhanam. Are you familiar with the word kannika dhanam? Kannika dhanam is when the marriage is performed, when you are handed over to some person who is receiving you, right? Basically your husband. If you are married, your husband who is receiving you. So when he is doing it, and that time, what happens? The 7 generation ancestors are pleased on the daughter side through this Kannika Dhanam. So you can see 3:7 is the ratio. That's how the Hinduism has given the importance for ladies. 3:7. Boy can do only for 3. All right? So ladies are for 7 generation they can give that impact. For 7 generation they can help the ancestors to get out. All right? So this is the uniqueness what we have in bringing this ancestors' memories and all. So he is also quoting that if I am going to do this war, if they are going to die, as if I am not offering the ancestors, the pindas and all, that is going to be the one thing which I am going to have. And also I am going to have the mixing of caste and the men of the family in which dharmas are destroyed totally in the hell. Right? And motivated by greed for the pleasure of a kingdom, we are prepared to commit a great sin. So if the sons of Dhritarashtra with the weapons in the hand should slay me, unresting and unarmed, that would indeed be better for me. So now how he has come to a mind. So he's saying, it is okay that I, without any weapon in my hand, I will just stand. Let him come and kill me. See what type of a mental status he has gone now. So he has given a justification. He says there is no point of waging war. And there is no point of getting the kingdom after killing these people. And then he talked about all ancestors and all those things get mixed up. Traditions are gone. And now at the last what he says, let them come and kill me. I don't mind. Such was the mentality what Arjuna has gone through. Okay? And having spoken that, he has dropped his kandiba and then he is sitting down in the chariot. So this is the place where the first chapter ends. So with the grief of Arjuna, what do we understand is sometimes it is very important that your concepts need to be very clear. If you are not clear, you have to get the clarification from a good master. Okay? So the battlefield where the war front is going on, that is the place where Lord Krishna is clarifying many things to Arjuna, where Arjuna's concepts are not clear in certain places, especially with the confusion with his individual dharma to the public one, about his family ancestor traditions, and how he is going to have this problem. And also he is also confused with what is papa, what is punya. Right? He says, I am going to get sin. I am going to get this. Correct? If that is the case, say for example, if every policeman is going to think about that, Every defense fellow who is on the standing on the border is going to think about that. If I am going to kill the enemy, I am going to get something. Then no one will go with the, in the defense side or in a police action to protect something. You are not going to have that type of a force at all. You understand? So it has to be done with certain things. It is not only for those people, it is for in your own life also. Sometimes some of the things have to be given up. We have to get rid of it. So getting rid of certain habits also might be like what you are thinking as relatives like. Okay, your habits, what you have, it could be very strong. You could have had a very good connection with that habit. It's very hard for you to give up. Right? All of a sudden, if supposing you are fond of eating sweets, someone is saying give up sweets. Is that easy for you? Correct? So eventually you have to convince your brain saying that I have to get out of the sweet. Correct? So how you are going to convince? In what way you are going to say? So there is always some way that you have to bring your mind out of that, and then you have to think about it. So this is where the status of Arjuna in the first chapter end. So in the end of the first chapter, we understand what is the type of mental status what we have. And number two is sometimes we don't know what type of a question we need to pose to Lord also. All right? So even the Lord is there, sometimes we don't know what type of questions we need to ask. So it happened once when Kanchi Paramacharya was sitting and he was talking with his devotees. Okay? He's talking with the great Upanyasaka, Balakrishna Shastrigal. He is a very great Upanyasaka in Ramayana and Mahabharatam. So then they both are sitting and talking. So Paramacharya, Kanchi Paramacharya is talking with this person. There's one fellow in the public, general public. He wants to get the attention of Kanchi Paramacharya. He started shouting, Paramacharya Rina Rachikanu, Paramacharya Rina Rachikanu. That means the Paramacharya has to bless me, bless me, bless me. So Paramacharya is talking with, he's having a very good academic subject to debate with the person. This fellow with indecency, he started shouting, Paramacharya Rina Rachikanu, Paramacharya Rina Rachikanu. He was not even addressing them. Okay, Paramacharya is not even looking at that person. He is having a discussion with Balakrishna Shastrigal. So beautiful discussion was going on about Ramayana and those things and about the itihasas. And Balakrishna Shastrigal was little bit taken up because this fellow is keep on nagging, shouting, saying that Paramacharya Rachikanu, Paramacharya Rachikanu. He stopped at a moment and he was looking at Paramacharya and looking at that fellow. Let him address and let him finish it. So now Paramacharya turned around and looked at this fellow and asked, Enna. Supposing you are seeing a divine personality and the divine personality is turning to you and asking you a question. Imagine a Baba is turning to you and asking, what do you want? This fellow who was shouting so far, he told, Paramacharya Rachikanu, Enna. Yes, Enna. எனக்கு கார் அடிக்கடி ரிப்பேரா போறது. What type of question is this? People doesn't know what question you need to ask, right? So this is what we do. In a front of Bhagavan, you have to ask something which is very, very much pleasing your soul and which can give you pleasure to your soul and everything. This fellow asked, my car has got a repair. Even for that he was laughing. Paramacharya laughed and told, Tirupathiku poitu va seriya pogum. He started addressing the other crowd and then he started talking with Balakrishna Shastri. Okay, so why I am saying is sometimes we don't know what type of a question we need to pose to Bhagavan. Alright? Sometimes we don't know because this is also something we have to learn. There are sometimes some people have that inborn geniusity of asking questions. This is a beautiful movement which happened. When Paramacharya visited the Andhra Pradesh on this, because he walked all the places in India, almost he has gone until Kashi through his He has walked all the way in India. So when he was passing through Andhra, he was in a village, and wherever he is, he does a puja called Chandramaulishwara puja. Chandramaulishwara means is a Shivalingam given, and that Shivalingam has been prayed by Adi Shankara himself. So they still have it. It is more than so many years, and they still have it in Shankaramat, and they are doing it. That's the same linga which has been done. Puja has been done by Adi Shankara. So they carry it wherever they go. They carry it. So if there is a Shivalinga, you need a Vilva. You understand the Vilva, the leaf, Vilva leaf, for to do archanas and all those things. So the village where they were staying, there is no proximity or there is no access of getting this Vilva leaf. Okay. So Paramacharya told, try to find out nearby somewhere, ask some by nearby villages, and try to find out if there is any way that we can get Vilva leaf. There should be some people who might know. Right? Because those days what happened? You have to go to and plug it from your trees, right? So even if you have a mango, right? So where do you go for mango leaves? Those days you go back and you have in the backyard and you take your stem and come back, right? You will plug the leaf from there. So Paramacharya told, ask someone in the village, nearby village, and try to get the Vilva leaf and come back. So these people started around, and then they were from the Mata, and all these peoples went around the village, the nearby village, and also they sent message, and the message has sent. So nothing was response for that day. In the morning when Paramacharya got up, and then he was looking for no Vilva was there, so he was little bit of thinking how we are going to do the puja and all. Around 8:30 and all, in the mutt there was a big basket, and a basket full of Vilva leaf was there. Okay. Then someone saw that it is in the front door of the place where they are. If they are staying in a school or a temple or something, they are there. Then the peoples of mutt, they carried and they say, Paramacharya Vilvam kadachuruthu. We have Vilva and then we can do it. The first question Paramacharya asked, where did he get it? Well, I don't know, it was there in the doorstep. Okay, so he took it, and then the day was gone. The next day, also, there was a basket full of Vilva there, around 8:30. And then, when he goes there, he sees the Vilva is there, and then the Mata managers are bringing it to the people. Then Paramacharya was curious. Definitely someone is distributing this. Try to find out who is it. So what happened? The next day, the manager understood it is around 8:30 or 8 o'clock. So something is happening there. So he was hiding himself to find out who is doing it. There's one boy who is carrying this basket full of Vilva leaf, and he is placing them. And he is about to run out. Then the manager ran and grabbed him. Come. What are you doing? How do you know this? Then he dragged him to the Paramacharya and said, this is the fellow who is bringing the Vilva. Then Paramacharya asked, how do you know Vilva leaf, first of all? On your age, I make question. And this boy is around 12 years or 13 years. How do you know about this? And what is your work? And he said, I am a cowherd. I am maadu meikiravan. My father usually takes all our cattle to a mountain nearby. On that mountain, there are 2 trees, Vilva trees, where my father taught me this is Vilvam. By taking this leaf, we will do Shiva Archana, which is very punyam. And you have to understand, during Shivaratri and all, we have to take it, and you have to think these are sacred ones. So that's how the father has educated him. Father passed away eventually. So this fellow is now taking care of the cattle. So he knows the tree is there. So when the news was spread saying that in the Paramacharya searching for Vilva leaf, so this fellow understood that that's a Vilvam, so he plugged and he took it and then he gave. Then Paramacharya told, you have done a very, very big kaingaryam for us because our matam needs a Vilvam. So you definitely have done. From tomorrow, don't come stealthily and place this. With right royal, you can come and do it. What do you want from me? So tell me what you want and what do you expect. That boy told, you see, that boy told, I have two requests from you, Paramacharya. I have two requests. Tell me what it is. He told, because my mother was a good Carnatic singer, she taught me some music. She is now no more. So, if permitted, can I sing in front of you in the evening time? He told, okay, come. Why not? Let us all listen your song, and then we can always cherish. Because who says no, right? So Paramacharya gave him. And he asked, what is the second one? I will ask you when you are leaving this camp. He told us. I will ask you when you are leaving this camp. Okay. So then Paramacharya was thinking, okay, go ahead. So this person came, that evening came, he sang, and this event is going on. That 14 days they stayed there, and 14 days every day he is trying to give the basket full of vilva leaf, and the pujas are done, everything was good, and that is the last day where Paramacharya is going to leave, and he called, he sent a messenger to call that boy. He never forgot. He called the boy, come here, and you are supposed to say me that you have a second request from me. What is your second request? He was just hesitant to say. Then he asked, okay, just go ahead and tell, what is your request? He told, Paramacharya, with your grace, I should attain moksha. Happened, recorded. This event has happened. Paramacharya was really, really taken aback, and he told, ஒன்ன மாதிரி எல்லாரும் இந்த வயசுல நினைச்சுட்டா எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம்பா. He told the same word. ஒன்ன மாதிரி எல்லாரும் இந்த வயசுல நினைச்சுட்டா ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். And he was just thinking, and he told, okay. And he gave the blessing and he left. Okay? So this happened sometimes in 1960s and all. Around after like 25 years back, when Paramacharya was sitting in Kanchipuram in the mutt early morning, when he was talking with his own mutt managers and all of a sudden he got up. He never talked or he never told anything. He started walking towards the Kanchi Kamachi Amman temple. And there you see there is a tank, Kolam. He started there, he went to that tank, he took a holy dip, and he was sitting on the tank, the border of the tank, and then he started doing japam for half an hour. And then he is going back, taking a dip, and coming back and sitting on the steps, and he is doing some japam. Like that, he is doing for 6 times. 6 times he was just going and taking a holy dip, coming out, and then he is doing japam, and then he is going and doing a dip. Every half an hour he is doing. These people didn't understand, these managers and everyone, they didn't know. They were rushing, and then they were thinking, sometimes, Paramacharya, you will never talk. Because they were thinking, have I committed any, some mistakes or anything? Maybe for which he is doing some prayachitta. Alright? So, they are all thinking on that, and someone even dared to ask him, Paramacharya, naanga edha tappu pannitoma? Adukka aparadama edha? He never even spoke. He was doing this for 6 times. And the 7th time he started walking towards the Kamachi Amman deity. He was going into the Mulagraham. Then from one, Mada manager was running towards Paramacharya and told, Paramacharya, a sad news. What? The boy, we saw him in the Andhra Pradesh, he passed away. He told, yes. He asked me moksham. He was supposed to have 6 janmas for which I have prayed to give him the liberation. Alright? So he had 6 janmas to go through, but he asked this question that he needed liberation very openly to the divine. This is the point what I want to say. We need to know what type of things we need to ask or seek from the God. Correct? We need to know what type of questions we are posing, what we need to ask from the God. So he asked this, I need liberation. Paramacharya took all the pain to make him cross the 6 janmas of him and give him that liberation what he wanted. And if that is possible by a guru, am I right? So this is what we should have in our mind whenever we see or meet a guru, and then we have to ask these type of things. We should not show as if we know many things. Sometimes we don't know. As if we are over smart, we start talking, right? See, there is one more great prasanga Chakravarti. We say he's called Tediyur Narayana Shastrihal in Tanjavur. He has written beautiful books in astrology and all. He also does pravachanam. He also gives the lectures about Bhagavad Gita and all. And his Bhagavad Gita pravachanams are very famous. And one fellow, out of curiosity, and he wants to show that he is very smart and he knows everything, right? He went to meet him. And Tediyur Narayana Shastri told, come in. And he told, say sometimes people doesn't know how to talk, and these are all the things you need to understand. When he's a learned scholar, he is very much learned scholar, he knows many things rather than you. So you should say what, I have one small doubt, something like that. So, for me, I know everything in Bhagavad Gita, I have only one question in my mind. This fellow started like that. He asked him again, sorry? He told, for me, I know everything in Bhagavad Gita, I have only one simple question in my mind. Oh, then what happened? This Narayana Shastri asked him, come, sit in my chair. And then he went pradakshana for him 3 times. Okay? And then he told, I am doing pravachanam for more than 25 years, the Bhagavad Gita. For every chapter I have a doubt, Appa. You are saying you are having only one doubt. So basically you are more genius than me. So let me pray to you. So this is something you have to be very careful also. When there is a scholar, you should also know how to talk with them. In what way you have to talk to them, right? So these are something very, very important communication skills, what we understand from the incidents, what we are doing, right? So we should not show that we are over smart. We should not say that I know everything. Correct? Also, there is a very, very beautiful Zen story comes. One of the professor who has done a very good research, PhD, in the philosophy. He is has a double PhD. Okay, he wants to go and meet a Zen Buddhist monk who is sitting there. And he just went in and he started, the philosophy of Buddhism is like that, this toy Buddhism is like this, Confucius says like this. Started lecturing him. Okay. The monk was just listening to him and he placed a cup and saucer. Okay. So there was a saucer and then he placed a cup and started pouring the tea. So this fellow started talking. Professor is talking. So he started pouring the tea into that cup. And what happened? Cup was full now. But still the monk has not stopped pouring. Then cup overflows to the saucer. And saucer is now full. And it started overflowing on the table. This fellow keep on talking and talking and talking. And he stopped. And he said, hey, you are supposed to be a very good intelligent monk. People told what you are doing. You don't even know. The tea is overflowing. What type of common sense you have? He told, it is not me, it is you. This is not me, this is you, because you are overflowing. Right? You are overflowing. You don't know how to control you. You don't know how to control your thoughts. If you don't have a control on yourself, how you are going to dictate others? Correct? So these are some of the life lessons which we learn from the message, what we get from. These are all the excellent places where you have to connect with Bhagavad Gita. Same overflowing of Arjuna. Right? You can see that overflowing. You are talking to divine. You are talking to a divine where he didn't even understood that is a divine, but he started overflowing. And this overflowing is what has happened to this type of a grief what he has got. So the net content of what we are getting in this chapter is, this chapter tells that when you are out of control of your mind, when you are totally emotional, And what happens is, this is the status what you're going to get in your mind, and this is how you are going to react, and you don't know how to handle any situation clearly. A clarity in the mind has to come when you are settled down, when you are in a balanced state. Okay? So that balanced state is what Lord Krishna is going to advise him on the chapter number 2. What he's going to say is Stita Prajna, what is called as a Stita Prajna. And who is Stita Prajna? How to have your balanced state of mind, how to keep your mind in a calm and peaceness. Okay? So that is basically how we are understanding the concept of chapter number 1. Okay? So, any questions so far from the chapter 1? Or any question in general which we can address? Right now we have another 4 minutes, right? Or 3 minutes? 4 minutes. So any questions in general? So what we can do is, from next time, if you have any copy of Bhagavad Gita, bring it. So that will be my advice. So if you have got a copy of a Bhagavad Gita, bring it, and then if you have a chance, just go through it, the second chapter. And if you have any particular questions also, let us take it up. And then we can also discuss here, because that is the only way that we are going to learn it. Otherwise the book is going to sit in the shelf. And we are not going to even do it, only for Saraswati Puja we are going to take it and do it and then keep it. So let us take, it doesn't matter whoever the author is. Okay? Siddhavananda is a good book, simple, if you are okay with them, and the Chinmaya is also good. So whichever is available for you, whatever book you have, doesn't matter. So it will be an opportunity for you at least to look at those chapters. Okay? Open it, look at it. So we can take some of the verses until like maybe next chapter that's a little bit big chapter for us. 72 verses are there almost in second chapter. So we can take at least 15 verses or something, and then we can look at it. What type of a discussions they are having, and does it makes any sense to us. Alright, so how do we connect it? Whether Krishna is telling something, does it make any sense to me? Does it appeals to me? Something we can always reveal. Right? So we don't need to just, it is Krishna. Yeah, of course. I'm not saying no. Is it practical? Are we understanding in a practical application way or not? So let us take that point and then let us take and discuss it. So maybe you can also bring your own books, and then you can mark or something, you can bring it out, and then we can discuss. Whichever book is for you, doesn't matter. Okay? So any other questions you have before we conclude? No? Not particularly. So, actually, yeah. That is one of the point which we want to raise. That's what Lord Krishna is going to raise him, because when comes as a Kshatriya Dharma, that is the societal level of duty, you should not think about an individual way of looking at it. So don't get confused with your personal thinking into it, because personal philosophies can be 1,000 personal philosophies. I may have my own principles into it, but that is not the justification for that, right? So that's what we have to understand. Right. Yeah. See, Samskrita words have a very good value. Okay. So if you are able to read Sanskrit in Sanskrit, is good, because you may not make any mistake. So why we say that, supposing a Tamil written in English, transliteration, if you read in English the Tamil, you can understand what type of mistakes you may make. Am I right? So that's why we say every language, if you read in that originality, will be good. So if you can. That is 100% true. But supposing if you are not able to do it, get one language clearly. That will be my advice. If you know Tamil clear and you can read the transliteration of the Sanskrit in Tamil clearly, that's good. It's no harm. Okay? But you need to know how the difference between sa, sha, sa, those things and all. So that's why they have a numbers, right? They will put a number 1, 2, 3, 4 and all. So you need to know where they are pronouncing what. And if you have that idea in your mind, it should be fine. You don't have any issues. That's by training you can practice. Okay? All right, so let us close. Om Shanti 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 Sairam.